Now we are going ahead with the next shloka, what happened later. And then it reverberated, it shook the earth. That was the big sound that happened. That's what he said. And then, Atha Vivasthitan Društva Dhartarashtan Kapidvajaha Pravrutte Shastra Sampate Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha Rishikesham Tadavakyam Idamaha Mahipate. Again, Sanjaya is telling us, telling to Dhritarashtra, Atha Vivasthitan Društva. Everything was organized, that was seen by Arjuna. Vyavastha went on well. Atha Vivasthitan Društva Dhartarashran Kapidvajaha. Kapidvaja is the symbol of Arjuna's chariot, happens to be Hanuman symbol. Therefore, he is addressed as Kapidvaja. And that is how we say Anjaneya was also present in the Mahabharata. So, after having seen the Dhritarashtra side being arranged well, the Kapidvaja, Pravrutte Shastra Sampate Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha. He took his bow and arrow, got ready to fight the battle. But before that, Rishikesham Tadavakyam Idamaha Mahipate. He told these words to Krishna. So these are the first words by Arjuna addressing to Krishna. Atha Vyavasthitan Društva. After seeing all arrangements are being made by Dhritarashtra, Dhartarashtra, the Kapidvaja, Arjuna, you can write the name Kapidvaja because that was the symbol in the chariot of Krishna. He takes that name to represent Arjuna. Pravrutte Shastra Sampate. It has to, the war has to begin. Coming and going of the both arrows will just start. Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha. Arjuna took his Dhanus, prepared to fight the war. Took his Dhanus, Rishikesham Tadavakyam Idamahem Mahipate. Then he told these words to Krishna. So you see here, an interesting thing that you observe is, there is no doubt whatsoever in the mind of Arjuna that he has to fight the war. He has the clearest mind to defeat the Kauravas. He sees the Kaurava armies being organized by Dhritarashtra. And the time has also come, the conches and other things have been blown and the war signal has been given. At that time, he told these words to Krishna. So this is an arrangement that happened in the war field. We have been told by Sanjaya. I think we can repeat. Atha Vyavasthitan Društva.
Atha Vyavasthitan Društva.
Dhartarashtraन् Kapidvajaha.
Dhartarashtraन् Kapidvajaha.
Pravrutte Shastra Sampate.
Pravritte Shastra Sampate.
Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha.
Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha.
Atha Vyavasthitan Društva.
Atha Vyavasthitan Društva.
Dhartarashtraन् Kapidvajaha.
Dhartarashtraन् Kapidvajaha.
Pravrutte Shastra Sampate.
Pravritte Shastra Sampate.
Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha.
Dhanuruddhyamya Pandavaha.
Rishikesham Tada Vakyam.
Rishikesham Tada Vakyam.
Idamaha Mahipate.
Idamaha Mahipate.
Rishikesham Tada Vakyam.
Rishikesham Tada Vakyam.
Idamaha Mahipate.
Idamaha Mahipate.
You can see an interesting thing happening there. One line is given of that shloka, the other line is not given. The other line is the direct speech of Arjuna. Therefore, Arjuna Vacha has come in the middle. Follow it carefully. Only one line we said that. Rishikesham Tada Vakyam Idamaha Mahipate. That is what is told by Sanjaya. Next half of the shloka, It is what is being told by Arjuna to Krishna. You have to notice that. If not, these are the very simple things. If we miss, we will not be able to understand the clarity of Bhagavad Gita. And then Arjuna begins. Therefore, in the middle of the shloka, that is after one line which was repeated by Sanjaya, Arjuna's name has come up. Arjuna vacha, senayor upayor madhye ratam stapaya mechyuta. That is those are the first words of Arjuna to Krishna directly. Senayor upayor madhye ratam stapaya mechyuta. Wonderful. Between the two armies, set my chariot, Krishna. That is what he says. What for? I'm going to begin the war. I'm going to fight back. I have decided to defeat the Kauravas. Therefore, Senayor upayor madhye ratam stapaya mechyuta. Between the two armies, set my chariot. Achyuta, here he calls him Achyuta, you can watch it. I told you yesterday, Arjuna uses different names for Krishna, and Krishna also uses different names for Arjuna. For us who want to understand Bhagavad Gita, whatever name used, Arjuna is Arjuna for us, Krishna is Krishna for us. We don't deviate and say, why he used Achyuta here, why he used Arjuna here, why he used Rishikesh. No, nothing doing. It is only to set the parameters of the poem. Senayor upayor madhye ratam stapaya mechyuta. That is the half line of the other shloka recited by Arjuna, which you also can understand the meaning. Senayor upayor madhye, between the two armies. Ubaya senaya madhyadalli. How beautiful it is in our own language to understand. Ubaya senaya madhyadalli ratavastapisu achyuta. Make my chariot stand between the two great armies, Krishna. That is what Arjuna says. I think we can repeat that half line. Arjuna vacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Senayor upayor madhye.
Senayorubayor madhye.
Ratam stapaya mechyuta.
Ratam stapaya mechyuta.
Arjuna vacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Senayor upayor madhye.
Senayorubayor madhye.
Ratam stapaya mechyuta.
Ratam stapaya mechyuta.
Now you know Arjuna is talking. Arjuna is talking to Krishna. Therefore, Yavadetan niriksheham yoddukaman avastitan kairmaya saha yoddim asmin ranasamudyame. How long you have to stop my chariot in the middle of the two armies? He gives an answer to that question. Yavadetan niriksheham. As long as I take a view of those people gathered there in the side of Kauravas, Yoddukaman Vastitan, desiring to fight the war on the side of Kauravas, Kairmaya Sahoyodyam. The second line is also important, you can underline. With whom I have to fight. That decision has to be taken in a war. Kairmaya Sahayodyam, with whom I have to fight the battle. And then Asmin Ranasamudyame, in this business of warfare. Asmin Ranasamudyame, in this business of warfare, stop my chariot in such a place so that I can decide with whom I have to fight, with whom others have to fight. Until I take that decision, stop my chariot in the middle of the two armies. This is a request made by Arjuna. There is no iota of fear in the mind of Arjuna. Now you have to watch this. Equally courageous. No doubt whatsoever in his mind, he has to fight the battle, win over it. And he also knows the other side has all his relatives. All this Mahabharata war is a war of all relatives to each other. Kings had relation of giving their brides to the other kings and others. So such relations were there with every kings and the other relatives, and all of them have today gathered to find a war. Arjuna wants to see with whom he has to fight. He has to make a decision. Till then, he asks Krishna to settle the chariot at the right point where he could look at whom he has to fight in the battlefield. Yavadetan niriksheham. Until I observe the battlefield. Nirikshe ಮಾಡುವವರೆಗೆ. ಯಾವದೇತಾನ್ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆಂ. Until I make a decision about. Yodhu kaman avasthitan. Whom should I see? Who have gathered here desirous to fight the war. Yodhu kaman means having desire to fight the war. Avasthitan, gathered. Gathered to fight the war. Kairmaya sahayodhim. I cannot go and hit a small man and say that I have hit him. No. They have to fight with their equals. Therefore, Arjuna says, Kairmaya sahayodhim. With whom I have to fight, he has to decide with whom he has to fight, with whom Bhima has to fight, who should the Yudhishthira face, who should Nakula face, who should Sahadeva face. All these things are pre-decided things. Therefore, until that happens, stay my chariot, stop my chariot. Between the two armies is the request by Arjuna to Krishna. Yavadetan niriksheham yodhu kaman avasthitam. I think I have made that shloka clear. If not, follow it once again carefully. Yavadetan niriksheham. Until I have a bird's eye view of the army, until I see the gathering, yodhu kaman avasthitam. What is that gathering? Those who have come there to fight the battle. Kairmaya sahayodhyam. Third point is, with whom I have to fight. Kairmaya sahayodhyam. Whom I must face in the battlefield. Asmin ranasamudyame. In this business of warfare. Asmin ranasamudyama. It is war. It is killing. It is fighting. Even then, they have to fight with equals. Therefore, he says, stop my chariot, Krishna, in the middle of the battlefield, where I can take a decision with whom I have to fight, with whom others have to fight, and other things. Till then, stop my chariot. That's what Arjuna wants Krishna to do. And then, I think we can recite. Yavadetan niriksheham.
Yavadetan niriksheyam.
Yodhu kaman avasthitan.
Yodhu kaman avasthitan.
Kairmaya sahayodhavyam.
Kairmaya sahayodhavyam.
Asmin ranasamudyame.
Asmin ranasamudyame.
Yavadetan niriksheham.
Yavadetan niriksheham.
Yodhu kaman avasthitan.
Yodhu kaman avasthitan.
Kairmaya sahayodhavyam.
Kairmaya sahayodhavyam.
Asmin ranasamudyame.
Asmin ranasamudyame.
Next shloka. Yotsamananavekshayam yate yaitetra samagataha. Again he repeats. Those who have gathered to fight the war, let me have a bird's eye view. Let me take a view of them. Yotsamanam avekshayam. Let me see the people who have come here to fight the war. Etetra samagataha. Those who have gathered here. Etetra samagataha is those who have gathered here in the warfield. Those who have come to fight the war. Let me have a bird's eye view. Therefore, take my chariot to the place where I can see the people gathered. Yotsamanam avekshayam etetra samagataha. Etetra samagataha is having gathered here at this place. The two for what? Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhi. It is the evil intention of Dhritarashtra's children. You all know the story of Mahabharata. If not, you are listening every day. what happens is, ultimately Duryodhana's intention was to eliminate Pandavas. He tried many tricks. In the beginning, he had put Bhima into the water, but he saved himself. And then they put him. They have tried to burn him in the Laksha Gruha. That also did not succeed. And then they said they have detected when they were in Ajnatavasa. That also did not happen. So their effort to kill Pandavas in between failed. Somehow he wants to do it. Therefore, Dhartarashtrasya Durbuddhe, evil intentioned Dhritarashtra's side. Yuddhe Prikya Chikersavaha. And I also want to know who have gathered on the side of the evil intention people with evil intention. Dhritarashtra, coming to Dhritarashtra's side is nothing but being on the evil side. Yesterday, I think I was referring to the present situation of our politics. Exactly the same situation is running. One side is demanding for one thing, all others have gathered on the other side as if they are the traitors of the nation. In the name of getting vote, they are ready to do anything. That's exactly the intention of Dhritarashtra. Therefore, he had gathered all those people on his side. So he also said, Yotsamanam avekhyam. I want to see the people who have gathered here to fight the war. Etetra samagataha. Here gathered here to fight the war. Dhritarashtrasya durbuddhe yuddhe priya chikersavaha. Whoever wants to do good to the Dhritarashtra, who is having evil intention, I want to see. Therefore, Senayor Madhya Ratam Stapaya Mechata. We will get back to that one. That again he did not say, but we go there. Therefore, Senayor Madhya Ratam Stapaya. Stop my chariot between the two armies, Krishna, so that I can take a decision. Who have gathered there? What is their intention? Who are there on the Kaurava side? And other things are to be decided. Therefore, stop my chariot in the middle of the battlefield. I think we can repeat this. Yotsamanam avekshayam.
Yotsamananaveksheham.
Etetra samagataha.
Ye etra samagataha.
Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhe.
Dhartarashtrasya dhurbuddher.
Yuddhe priyachikersavaha.
Yuddhe priyachikersavaha.
Yotsamanam avekshayam.
Yotsamananaveksheham.
Etetra samagataha.
Ye etra samagataha.
Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhe.
Dhartarashtrasya dhurbuddher.
Yuddhe priyachikersavaha.
Yuddhe priyachikersavaha.
Arjuna made his request to stop the chariot in the middle of the army, where who could see and take a decision, who have all gathered on the side of Kauravas, with whom he has to fight, with whom the others will have to fight. To take that decision, he needed time. He asked Krishna to take the chariot to the middle of the battlefield, which Krishna does. And then Sanjaya Vacha. We have come to again Sanjaya's words. If we don't understand that these are the words of Sanjaya, we will miss everything in Bhagavad Gita. Why is Sanjaya there? We already know. He is explaining things that is happening in the warfield to the Dhritarashtra. He can see everything that was happening 11 days before in the warfield between Krishna and Arjuna. And therefore, he can stop in between and say something to Dhritarashtra and say something to us also that is needed. So he comes in. And then, Evo Mukto Hrishi Kesho Gudakeshena Bharta Senayor Madhye Stapayitva Ratottamam Bhishma Drona Pramukataha Sarveshancha Mahikshitan Vacha Partha Pashyetan Samavetan Kuruniti. There are two shlokas together. If they are separate, you can read them together. Sanjaya Vacha. Eva Mukto Hrishikesha Gudakeshina Bharata. Saying so by Arjuna to Krishna, Senayor Ubayor Madhya Stapayitva Ratottamam, Krishna stopped the chariot between the two warrior groups, in the middle of the group, and Senayor Ubayor Stapayitva Ratottamam, he took the chariot and stopped it in the middle, as told by Arjuna. Look here, Krishna is the God, as we all understand. But he is now the charioteer. Now his job is to do what the owner of the man sitting in the chariot asks him to do. Therefore he says, take my chariot there. Krishna being God, he has to follow what Arjuna says. He takes the chariot there. No question asked. He said that, and I do it. So, Senayor Ubayor Madhya Stapayitva Ratottamam. Krishna took the chariot and stopped it between Senayor Ubayor Madhya. You can also note that one. Stapayitva Ratottamam, Senayor Ubayor Madhya Stapayitva Ratottamam. Great chariot was stopped between the two armies, and then where exactly? Bhishma Drona Pramukataha. In front of Bhishma and Drona, he stopped. Krishna stopped the chariot. Because those two were respectable elders in the Kaurava and Pandava side. Both of them respected them so much. Dronacharya was a teacher to Kauravas, also to Pandavas. So on Dronacharya, Arjuna has a lot of respect. Bhishma, great grandfather of the family, loved by not only Kauravas, also by Pandavas, and we don't know how many days these Panduputras slept with him and listened to the stories and what went on, the love affair between the grandfather and the grandchildren. That's a beautiful house where grandchildren love their grandparents. So, and therefore Pandavas also have a great respect for Bhishma and Drona. That's why the first name is taken up, Bhishma Drona Pramukataha. In front of Bhishma and Drona, Stapayitva Ratottamam. He stopped the chariot between Bhishma and Drona in the warfield. Pramukataha, Sarveshancha Mahikshitam. And all the other gatherings of the kings. Uvacha, Partha, Pashyetan Samavetan Kuruniti. Next line. Is there a line which is spoken by Krishna in the first chapter? Yes, here is a short one. Interestingly, Pashyetan Samavetan Kurur. Look, he showed. Look at the gathering of Kurusena. He not only showed that you can put it in inverted comma. Pashyetan Samavetan Kurun. Iti is a different thing. So said Sanjaya says to us. Pashyetan Samavetan Kurun. Look at the gathering of these Kurus. That is what Krishna said to Arjuna. Sanjaya is telling us, he said like this. He said like this. Partha, Pashyetan Samavetan Kurun. Look at the gathering Kurus here. He showed it. And there ends that shloka, Kuruniti. Bhishma Drona Prabhukataha, Sarveshancha Mahikshitam. He stopped the chariot in front of Bhishma and Dronas and other warriors of Kauravas. Sarveshancha Mahikshitam. Uvacha Partha Pashyetan Samavetan Kuruniti. That line you have underlined the last line. Krishna said to Arjuna, look at the people gathered there. Look at the people gathered there. To show that you have to fight them. You have to conquer them. You must have a victory over them. So therefore, look. he shows Krishna, Arjuna, Bhishma and Drona. Yes, I think we can repeat. Sanjaya Vacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Mukto Hrishikesho
Evamukto Rishikesho
Gudakeshena Bharata
Gudakeshena Bharata
Senayorubayor Madhye
Senayorubayormadye
Stapayitva Ratottamam
Stapayitva Ratotamam
Evamukto Hrishikesho
Evamukto Rishikesho
Gudakeshena Bharata
Gudakeshena Bharata
Senayorubayor Madhye
Senayorubayormadye
Stapayitva Ratottamam
Stapayitva Ratotamam
Bhishmadrona Pramukataha.
Bhishmadrona Pramukataha
You can also underline Bhishmadrona Pramukataha because Arjuna, Krishna also wanted to test Arjuna. How would he take killing Bhishma and Drona in the water field? If something should happen, it should happen in the beginning of the war field, not in the middle. Therefore, he took him in front of Bhishma and Drona and stopped them. Bhishmadrona Pramukataha
Bhishmadrona Pramukataha
Sarveshancha Mahikshitaam
Sarve Sancha Mahikshitam
Uvacha Partha Pashyetan
Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan
Samavetan Kuruniti.
Samavetan Kuruniti.
Did we repeat twice, Shruti?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ
Yeah.
one more.
Bhishmadrona Pramukataha
Bhishmadrona Pramukataha
Sarveshancha Mahikshitaam
Sarve Sancha Mahikshitam
Uvacha Partha Pashyetan
Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan
Samavetan Kuruniti.
Samavetan Kuruniti.
And you all know Sanjaya is telling us now. And what Sanjaya tells to Dhritarashtra, we are listening again. Tatra Pashyastitan Partha Pitrunata Pitamahan Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun Putran Pautran Sakhistata Shashuran Surdasyeva Senior Ubyorpi Tan Samikshasa Kauntaya Sarvan Bandhun Avastitan. Sanjaya is telling. What was there in front of him, in front of Arjuna, is being explained by Sanjaya now to us, now to Dhritarashtra. Tatra Pashyastitan Partha. There Partha observed. Tatra Pashyastitan Partha. There Partha observed the standing enemies. Pitrunata Pitamahan. Parents and grandparents and great-grandparents had gathered there. Pitrunata Pitamahan. Parent side, father, uncle and so on. Grandfather and grandfather, co-grandfathers, etc. Pitrunata Pitamahan. Acharyan. Teachers. All teachers had gathered. Acharyan, particularly Dronacharya was there, with whom Arjuna has to fight. But the thing is, Dronacharya had a special love for Duryodhana. He wanted to make him number one warrior, number one archer. You know a story where he used an unjust means to make Arjuna the greatest. It is the story of Ekalavya. One day Ekalavya came where Dronacharya was teaching archery to his students. His students were sons of Dhritarashtra and Pandu, that is Pandavas and Kauravas. He came with all respect and saluted Dronacharya and asked him to teach him archery. Dronacharya said, "No, I'm only going to teach Kshatriyas. You are a forest dweller. How can I teach you that?" So he refused to teach. But Ekalavya had a vision of that teacher. Went to the forest, made a beautiful statue of Dronacharya, which resembled completely Dronacharya. With all respect to Dronacharya, he prostrated at his feet and began practicing archery. He practiced in such wonderful way, all things that Dronacharya knew began coming to Ekalavya too. One day Dronacharya was going along with his students, that is Pandavas and Kauravas. It was near a river. A dog was barking. Suddenly in front of them, they saw an arrow straight coming and stopping the barking dog. That is, it came to the mouth of the barking dog and hit it, and it stopped barking. Dronacharya was shocked. He hadn't even taught this Shabdavedi, that's what is called, Shabdavedi, to Arjuna. Then they wanted to find out who was the man who was having such mastery over archery. They came later and found this boy, a forest boy. He wanted to know archery only to kill the animals which used to attack his village. That is what he said. And Dronacharya pretended as if he was so very happy at his learning. And he wanted a Guru Dakshina. Yes, it's right. You have learned from me, having my statue as your teacher. I'm so happy you have learned. But it's a duty of any learner to give a dakshina to the man who teaches. Therefore, you have to give me Guru Dakshina. That's what he asked. The Ekalavya says, ask whatever you want, I can give if I have. And then he wants this thumb as a gift. That will not make him able to shoot the arrows. And immediately Ekalavya cuts his thumb and offers it on a leaf to Dronacharya. The intention was not good there. He was growing beyond Arjuna, was the evil intention of Dronacharya. But he took the Guru Dakshina, made number one first. I usually make a joke. I ask the children, where do you stand in your class? They say, I'm standing second. There is one way of making you stand, make you stand. There are two ways of make you stand first in the class. They ask, what is that? One is to you are working harder. Another is ask the principal to give TC to that boy and send him to some other school. So if you send to some other school, you stand first there. So by taking the hand of Ekalavya, Dronacharya had made him world number one archer of Arjuna. And now Arjuna has to fight Dronacharya. Look at the beauty of it, this situation. Look at the tragedy of the situation. Such sacrifice Dronacharya had done to make him number one. Therefore, Tatra Pasya Stitan Pata Pitrunata Pitamahan. Parents and grandparents. I told you there are 4 generations in this war field. And then Acharyan, teachers were there. Not only these teachers, many other teachers were there. We are highlighted only Arjunas and Pandavas and Kauravas learning archery from Dronacharya. They had also learned other education. You see, they must have had it. Must have been learned from other teachers. Therefore, many teachers might have been there in the war field. Acharyan, Matulan, Bratrun, uncles, brothers, Putran, sons, Potran, grandsons, Sakinstata, friends, Tan Samiksha Sakaunteya, Sarvan Bandhuna Bastitan. Arjuna looked at all this gathered. Whatever the relation is there between the man and man, male relation, uncle, grandfather, son, grandson, brother-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, uncle, all relatives were there. there was no relation which was not there in the what field between the male and male. So that he gives an entire list here. Tatra pasyastitan partha. There parthas are standing. Pitrunata pitamahan. Parental people, grandparents, acharyas, matulan, uncles, bhratrun, brothers, putran, sons, pautran, sons, pautran, grandsons, sakis tata, friends, and shashuran, father-in-laws. Next line, next shloka it is there. Shashuran. Shashuran Surdasyeva. And friends. Shashuran Surdasyeva means those who have those well-wishers. Shashuran Surdasyeva Senior Ubiyorapi. It is not in one place they were standing. Arjuna looks at this side and that side, there is no difference to be seen at all. On his side also, his relatives, the other side also, his grandsons, sons, parents, Acharya, Matulan, Bhratrun, Putran, Potran, Sakista, everybody is there on every side. That he observes. Sarvan Bandhu Navastitan. Look at that. That gives the total picture. All Bandhus had gathered there. Arjuna sees that. Tatra Pasyastitan Partha. There Partha observed. First line, Tatra Pasyastitan Partha. Whom did he observe? Pitrun, Atapita Mahan, Acharyan, Matulan, Bhratrun, Putran, Pautram, Sakims Tata. And the next shloka, Shashuran, Surdasyeva, good well-wishers. Surda means those who well-wishers. Senayor Ubiyormapi. Not only well-wishers are on Arjuna's side, they are also on the side of Kauravas. Senayor Ubayurapi. In both Sene they were there. Tan Samiksha Kasa Kaunteya Sarvan Bandhu Navasitam. He looked at all those gathered there to fight the war. These two shlokas are important here because it tells us who had gathered in the war field and who are on what side and what was the relation between those warrior kings who had gathered there. Shashuran Surdasyeva Seniyor Ubiyorpi. That is, I am repeating the next shloka. Shashuran means father-in-laws. Surdasyeva, well-wishers. Where were they? Senayor Ubiyorpi. They were gathered on both the Sene, both the Sainya, both the army. Tan Samikshasa Kaunteya, observing, Kaunteya means, again, Kaunteya is Arjuna. Arjuna observed them, Sarvan Bandhu Navastita. All Bandhus have gathered, all relatives are here. No relation is missing here. All male and male relation have been gathered in this warfare to fight the battle to finish it. I think we can repeat that one. Let us start. Tatra Pashyastitan Partha.
Tatra Pasyastitan Partha.
Pitrunata Pitamahan.
Pitrunata Pitamahan.
Acharyan Matulan Bhatrun.
Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun.
Putran Pautram Sakins Tata.
Putran Pautran Sakins Tata.
Tatra Pashyastitan Partha.
Tatra Pasyastitan Partha.
Pitrunata Pitamahan.
Pitrunata Pitamahan.
Acharyan Matulan Bhatrun.
Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun.
Putran Pautram Sakins Tata.
Putran Pautran Sakins Tata.
Shashuran Surdasyeva.
Swashuran Survadasyaiva.
Senayorubayorapi.
Senayorubayorapi.
Tan Samikshasa Kaunteyaha.
Tan Samikshasa Kaunteyaha.
Sarvan Bandhunavastitan.
Sarvan Bandhunavastitan.
Shashuran Surdasyeva.
Swashuran Survadasyaiva.
Senayorubayorapi.
सेनयोरुभयोरपि
तान् समीक्ष स कौन्तेयः
तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः
सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान्.
सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान्.
Again, half shloka was there, and then there is one more line. Krupaya paraya vishto vishidan idam abravi. His spirit, it was at the highest level, dropped to the zero. Krupaya paraya vishto vishidan idam abravi. Suddenly his decision trembled, fell down, and grief struck him. Kripaya paraya vishto vishidan abravi. And then, seized by the deep compassion, said these words sorrowfully to Krishna. Look here. When he sees Bhishma, Drona, and all others were relatives of his, suddenly his mind thought, what's going on here? A great tragedy is going to happen. All relatives will kill each other, and should not happen like that. There is one question, is this right or not? We say Ashoka went to a war and he saw the gathering people there. Having seen death, he left the war. But that may not be right. If we think Osama bin Laden should not be killed and his group should not be killed, he would have killed all the others. Therefore, war was right in that situation. War is right in the Mahabharata situation. They could not get what they wanted to get by peaceful means. Ultimately, they came to war. Mahabharata war did not come by itself. If you know Mahabharata, all methods were tried to get at least 5 small villages for Pandavas. That is what Krishna went as a mediator to Duryodhana and asked for. No, don't worry. Give at least 5 small villages for our people so that they can make a living there, ruling over those 5 villages. And Duryodhana said, which you know, no. If they want, they can take it in war. I am not going to give even the space that is available on a needle head to them by arms. Therefore, fight. That was the last thing. Before Mahabharata war, they had tried Sama, Dana, Veda. What was ultimately remaining was Danda. When Danda remains, war should happen. Anyway, any situation, it is right. When you cannot mend for justice the other man, ultimately war is the essential thing. And that's what we see in between countries. We make certain laws, don't enter our territory, and you come there, you violate the law, and then I have a right to fight you back. So here also in Mahabharata, war was not the first option. Krishna himself went there as a mediator. And Duryodhana wanted to tie him to a wall. But there, Krishna showed an interesting thing. They could not decide who was Krishna because everybody looked like Krishna there. Whom to try, where to try, nothing was happened, and then he came out safely. Let's not worry about that. All this is happened. And now he has been seeing Senayor Upayor Madhye Tatam Stapaheja Tatra Pashastitan Partha Pitrunata Pitamahan Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun Putran Potran Sakistata Shushuran Surdasyeva Senayor Upayor Upi Tan Samiksha Sakaubataya Survan Bandhu Navastitan Krupaya Paraya Vishto Vishidan Idamapravi. Looking at them, he went down like anything with sorrow and said these words. Look at the change. What had he told in the beginning? Senayor Upayor Madhye Ratam Stapayamechata. Now what is he saying? Kripaya Parayashta. He is saying, what can I do, Krishna? I can't kill him. I can't fight against that. That's what he has exactly come to the other end of the decision. Tan Samiksha Sakaunteya Sarvan Bandhu Navastan Kripaya Parayavishto Vishidan Idam Abravit. Kripaya Parayavishto, seized by deep compassion, said these words sorrowfully. Whom is he saying? He is saying to Krishna, as we all know. So, I think we recited that, did we?
Kripaya Parayavishto, repeat me.
Kripaya Parayavishtaha
Kripaya Parayavishtaha
Idannidam Abravit.
Vishidanidamabravit.
Kripaya Parayavishtaha
Kripaya Parayavishtaha
Idannidam Abravit.
Vishidanidamabravit.
There also you see an interesting half shloka is there. And the next half is told by Arjuna. These are the two things which you have to remember. Arjuna Vacha. We have come to Arjuna Vacha. What does Arjuna say? Drushtvevam swajanam Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is easily understandable to anybody who knows Indian language. I am seeing my swajanas Krishna, our own people. Drushtvevam swajanam Krishna. Swajana means our people. They are not our enemies. They are our own people. Swajanam Krishna, yutsum samupastitam. But they have gathered here to fight a war. Still they are our own people. Our own people have gathered here to fight the war. Drushtvevam swajanam Krishna. Krishna, I am looking my swajana. Vishi Kripaya Drushtvevam swajanam Krishna, yutsum samupastitam. Having decided to fight the war, our own people have gathered here. That is the number, that line of that shloka. Drushtvevam swajanam Krishna. Krishna, I am looking at my own people. Yutsum sampasitam. Desiring to fight the war have gathered here. Yutsum sampasitam. Yutsu means having desire to fight the war. Sampasitam, staying here. And then that is the line, we will finish up that line. Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
Drushtvevam sajanam Krishna.
Drishtvevam sajanam Krishna.
Yutsam sampastitam.
Yuyutsvam samapashtitam.
Drushtvevam sajanam Krishna.
Drishtvevam sajanam Krishna.
Yutsam sampastitam.
Yuyutsam samupastitam.
And then he says what is happening in him after seeing all people were his own people. Love of the family was more important than love of dharma for Arjuna at this point. Sidanti mama gatrani mukancha parishushati vepatusya sarire me romaharshasya jayate. Very natural things that happen to a man when he gets confused to this level. Sidanti mama gatrani. My size reduces. That is to say, I am getting weaker. My courage is gone. Mukancha parishishyati. Naturally happens, mouth dries. Mukancha parishishyati. I have got dry mouth, I cannot talk. This happens to each one of us. Particularly, it will happen when you first face an audience, if you are an orator. I had an experience in my high school days. A teacher gave my name for a debate. Probably it was on a very simple thing. But when he said that I must talk, I had begun to shake. And it was on a Saturday, my name was called. I went there, stood before the students. That was a T-shaped corridor in our high school. One side there were teachers, other side there were girls. In front of me there were boys of the entire school. My leg began to shake. I don't know what I said. I stood there for 2 or 3 minutes. And then when I completed, I was very happy that I have done the speech. And then I began clapping like a drum. Trump claps like that. You see, for his speech, he only claps, and I did it. And after many 50s of years, I see Trump clapping for his own talk. So that could happen to anybody in any situation. And you might have also had one situation where you were like that. Therefore, Sidanti mama gatrani, my size decreases. Mukancha parishishyati, mouth dries. I feel like drinking water. Vepatuscha sharire me, my body shakes. My body shakes. And romaharshasya jayate, hairs stand on the ends. Romaharsha means the hair stand. When you see a terrible thing, suddenly what happens is your hairs will stand. That is happening to Arjuna. So all things that happens to him, he tries to tell Krishna and to us again. Sidanti mama gatrani mukarita parishushati. My size reduces, mouth dries, vepatuscha sharire, body shakes, romaharsha jayate. Hairs stand on the ends. That's what is happening to me. I think we can repeat this. Sidanti mama gatrani
सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि
mukancha parishushati
मुखं च परिशुष्यति
vepatuscha sharire me
वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे
romaharshascha jayate.
रोमहर्षश्च जायते
Sidanti mama gatrani
सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि
mukancha parishushati
मुखं च परिशुष्यति
vepatuscha sharire me
वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे
romaharshascha jayate.
रोमहर्षश्च